Hello, I am the Convolutional Neurogamer, and this is AI War 2. So, um, it's been a while, but I've decided to actually come back and make some videos now that AI War 2 is out. This first video is going to be a short video of a very quick difficulty 7 win in the new AI War 2 game. There's quite a few differences between the first and the second game. I won't go into all of them. This is primarily going to be a video to just display basics of how to win on difficulty 7 and the way I play in AI War 2. I'm also doing this as post-commentary, which you've probably noticed the game is not moving. Don't worry, I am going to unpause it because this is the recording of my gameplay from earlier. That way I can fast forward it and hopefully create a little bit nicer of an experience and with a slightly more cohesive commentary. So, as I said, I'm going to be playing a difficulty 7 game. So I'm just setting up. I'm going to go with a raid fleet mainly for the daggers there because they give a speed boost to the rest of my fleet. The agile transport is neither here nor there. I mean, it's nice, but it's not terribly important. Mainly because I'm trying to win quickly. I'd recommend if you're playing your first difficulty 7 game, probably don't go with the raid fleet. Go with one of the fleets that has more raw firepower on it. Okay. Next, I'm going with I clicked a little fast there, didn't I? Eclectic Defenses, which are handy because they have the construction battle station, and also because they have plasma cannons, I believe they're called, plasma turrets, which are great for damage and dealing with the final home command station. Finally, Engineers and Rejuvenator Factory. Once again, this is for construction, so much like the Collective Defenses has a construction battle station, Engineers and Rejuvenator Factory has the most engineers, so just as much construction capacity early on as possible. You can go with that. These things are great. Those are two great setups for any game, so feel free to go with that one in your own games. AI is just Fortress Baron difficulty 7. I always turn off coarse background processing because I don't need it. So on the map, I just went with a crosshatch, which you'll see me switch to eventually. Crosshatch is good for quick games. It gives you a lot of options. It means that everything is relatively close together, but can be challenging because the AI can attack you from all sides, and your planets have sort of no choke. There are no choke points on the map, and your planets are sort of have wormholes everywhere, so the AI will just hit you all sides. Yeah, so there's advantages and disadvantages. Very much a good choice for this one. You can see that here that if I go 78, I actually get 81 planets. I'm just demonstrating that. It forces it into a square, so 9 by 9, 81 is a square number. So, in a moment, I will get into the game and I can demonstrate how I play. So, what I'm going to be looking for early is options mainly for disruptive. I went disruptive in this game because it's compatible with the turrets you automatically get. They are disruptive. Oh yes, I also upgraded the home command station because that gives you a good resource boost. And because disruptive fleets are pretty good against a number of different things in this game. I did consider picking up some generalist, but in the end I actually didn't end up doing that at all. Generalist has really great DPS and is better than disruptive in some circumstances. It depends on what you have on the map. I had a decent amount of disruptive, and disruptive's pretty solid and great, and great at taking down Dire Guardians. I also have the Spire Archive, which you can see on the west there. That can spawn very close to you on these smaller crosshatch maps. In your games, you're probably not going to see that, but I will take advantage of it since it's there as an extra boost of science. So yeah, I've decided to go disruptive at this point. So I'm going to increase the game speed a little bit, keep things moving, is the plan. So I set the battle station and the engineers to the same hotkey so that I can just keep them together, keep them manufacturing stuff. I don't build any turrets immediately because I want to just get my fleet up and running and start attacking things. Take a look at this planet. This is the first one I plan to attack. I believe it has a fleet on it, if I recall correctly. And yeah, just these early assaults, I have only Mark 1 ships, so I have to be a bit careful, so it takes a while to actually kill things. So I just sit a little back, try to pull one guard post at a time, and then kill off all of their guards before moving on to the next one. I eventually get through all this, and once I've got this planet, things become a little bit easier. Yeah, I don't bother to take out all of the guard posts before taking out the planet, because I'm able to just, you know, build it now. Why not? You don't have to kill everything on a planet before you build your command station, so why do so? Here, I aggro the guys in the fort and then retreat with most of my fleet so that I can kill them. So at this point, I've grabbed the fleet there. Eventually, I'll do some micro with it. Here we go. I just derping up there. There's no need to do that. So yeah, the more important thing is that it's got agravic pods, which are actually of the tech type I have. So I swap those onto my main fleet with the daggers, which makes them nice and fast. And I like to call mine Strike Primus Alpha and Strike Primus Beta as my main two fleets. You'll see that I basically go with 2 fleets as the focus of my army a lot of the time. Means you can just ignore eyes, AI eyes, and 2 fleets is usually enough firepower to easily handle everything. So with the help of the agravic pods, the fortress goes down, no problem. Easy peasy. So if I recall correctly, next I'll just go and grab the Spire Archive. No, it's good target, 8,000 science. That gives me a nice boost early on, though I don't actually think I end up using it immediately. Oh yeah, I just throw down turrets for these defenses. It just doesn't matter at difficulty 7. Their defenses aren't that strong. And this is honestly the way I usually put things together in any game. Hunter Fleet shows up here. Hunter Fleet, again, at difficulty 7, it's just not big enough to really worry about if you've got even a semi-decent fleet, so I just kind of keep attacking. They do have Sabot guard posts there. Those can murder your transport, so you do have to be a bit careful with them. That's why I kind of focus them down quite quickly when I approach them. There's a Warden fleet. Again, it's not strong enough to actually kill my fleet, so I just kill it. Yeah, I can be a little suicidal with its Warden fleet sometimes, even on higher difficulties. Yep, so this planet's mine. All done. Nice and quick. There's no need to... you know, if you're playing difficulty 7 and it's like you haven't played difficulty 7 much, don't try to go this fast. Just, you know, chill out. The AI doesn't scale with time, so you'll be fine. I make sure to put all the turrets in range of the Spire Archive there for the hack later, and I put down a few extra turrets and things. Because I plan to have my main fleet go and do other things whilst that Spire Archive hack's going, because it takes forever, and I don't want to be tied up for that long. I also just hack this command augmenter because I don't want to have to protect it. It's in a weird position near wormholes. It makes it very hard to defend, and I just can't be bothered. Maybe on a harder difficulty game I would have put in the extra effort, but it probably wouldn't have been particularly viable. It's not a great place. Sometimes you just look at where those spawn and they're just too near wormholes to be practically defended. It's just not worth the effort. Distribution nodes, always worth taking. Here I'm mainly after the research station, which I will grab very shortly. I pick off those snipers first and then go ahead and swap out one of my lines that I care about less and start the hack. Oh, yeah, the Wardens show up, but they don't matter. Pike Corvettes. Pike Corvettes are great because they hit a whole bunch of targets. Really good for killing the smaller ships, particularly high armored stuff. But you know, they're fine on low armored stuff. They've got decent DPS regardless. And yes, now I've started the Spire Archive hack too. So you can see 450 seconds. That's ages. And so I'm trying to be fast. Got to keep moving. And I realise at this point also, oh, I didn't actually put defenses on my homeworld. Probably should do that. And, you know, that's fine. You don't actually need them immediately, so there's no need. This is why I'm saying, you know, there's no need to, like, wait. If you're on really high difficulty, the AI has enough hunters and things that they're actually kind of dangerous, and you really should immediately build your turrets on, like, difficulty 9 and 10. But on difficulty 7, the AI hunter fleet isn't that big, you can just kill it. So it's not really a problem. Oh, I'm talking about if you have kite hunters. You may have noticed I went kite wardens and kite hunters. That means the AI can just do whatever it wants with its fleets. Its warden and hunter fleet, so the whole thing can just show up wherever, which is a little bit harder to deal with than the default sort of behaviours. Actually, I think the default hunters are the same, so that won't make any difference. But the wardens will show up in larger numbers than perhaps you would if you were using base-based wardens. They'll show up faster and harder in higher numbers than in this game, than they would in that. So yeah. Obviously Fortress Ballarin also slows things down. By the way, whilst I'm doing this fast, this isn't super fast. You can definitely do it a lot faster. You can probably do it in an hour if you really push it. I mean, you know, without doing anything particularly new or cheesy. But you know, who knows how fast you can do it if you really optimize it or pick the map that was optimal for it and all that stuff. But even pretty casually, you can do it in 2 hours if you're just running around like I am here. So yeah, now I'm a big concern at this point is to work out where the AI homeworld is. I've seen some high mark worlds down the south west. And so I know I need to expand broadly in that direction, so I'm going for useful looking planets over that way. I don't think I'd seen the AI homeworld at this point, but I think I was reasonably confident that it would be down there. Either that or I'd actually seen it, and I just knew. So, still doing the same things, taking out guard posts one at a time. It's all pretty similar with clearing a planet. Clearing a planet is clearing a planet. And yeah, I'm after the fleet doubler, of course, because fleet doubling is good. Pick up those as you can. I'm looking here, I believe, for... oh yes, this is what I'm considering. Do I want to go generalist? Later on, I'll also look for an additional raider or dagger to speed up my second fleet, which is pretty important. Yeah, here I go. I'm checking out what's in all the research stations, and there it is. There's a raider up there, so I will go up there later on. I planned for it at this point. Raiders and daggers, the speed boost they give is extremely powerful. It helps you really move around quickly and deal with whatever threats pop up as they pop up. I basically recommend having one in every major fleet you have in every game, unless those fleets are just going to sit around and defend, because they're just that good. It's probably something that needs to be restructured as a mechanic, but we'll see what happens. You know, the rate of development on AI was pretty quick, so you never know quite what the state of things will be by the time you're watching this video. Okay, so, yep, one more planet, one more set of defenses. It's all the same, just plonks of pike turrets around it. That'll be fine. I don't need to worry about defending anything on this planet, so it's fine. Spider turrets are also really good, so go ahead and do that. Gravity turrets in large numbers are extremely powerful, but I don't have enough numbers and high enough tech for them to be that good, so they're merely okay. I just try to cover all entrances. Since several gravity turrets affecting the same target will stack their effects, so it's very important to try to get both of them on it. Here I'm going for this data center. I think I mess up a bit here. We'll see. So I'm just trying to clear out this stuff. I believe I put my construction stations. Yeah, you can see I'm rebuilding the fleet as they go, so all my construction stations are nearby. So I plan to just snipe this data center and I kill the Guardian, but then, I've got a counterattack popped up, which is rather annoying. I hadn't intended on doing that. I was thinking, oh, I killed the data center, I can just leave. But now I can't leave. I have to kill all of the guard posts in order to prevent the counterattack from happening, which is kind of annoying. But, so that was a bit of a mistake, really. This is why I'm saying this is far from optimal. I just needed to let less units die. I've been a bit better in my positioning, trying to fight them further away from the guard post. That would have been much better than what I ended up doing. And I wouldn't have lost as many ships, and probably wouldn't have had a counterattack trigger. Anyway, even on Mark 5 planet, it's easy enough to just pick up all the guard posts by going around one at a time. And oh yes, I just triggered the fortress's guards and realised I was way too close to the fortress. I should have been further away from that while doing the fighting. Wasted some metal on that. I kind of want that transport, but it's not very important since it doesn't have disruptive, so it's not that great. Another data center there, pretty exposed. I don't remember if I go for it now or I wait till later. I'm thinking about it, but I might just go, can get it later, because I mainly want to prevent the AI from reaching 100 AI progress, which is where it goes up to Mark 2 at difficulty 7. That becomes a bit tighter on higher difficulties, but right now, but with difficulty 7 you just need to worry about 100, because the AI does get a fairly significant power boost. Here I'm trying to work out if I want porcupines or stalkers. Eventually I noticed the attack bonus on stalkers is good against high energy targets, even though their overall DPS is lower. And basically Dire Guardians are high energy targets, and when you go for an early kill of the AI homeworld, you have to kill a lot of Dire Guardians. You see there, 20,000 energy use, I believe, on that Pike Guardian, so I'm like, yeah, I want that. Thanks. So first I go ahead and clear out this planet here. Don't want to take the planet or anything, I just want a place that I can sit my rebuilding stations. And the AI kind of runs off with its guys and becomes threat. Earlier than I had intended. I didn't actually realise I had enough fleet strength to trigger that, but so now I've got a bunch of threat floating around in the galaxy, which I didn't really want, but because I let so many of them escape, and I don't really have anything to block escape. That's one of the handy things on the classic fleet. If you get the classic fleet, you can bring a force field frigate along, and that, if you sit that over a wormhole, you can prevent a lot of those ships from escaping and reduce the amount of threat you take. And once again, switching out one of my slots so that I can pick up the stalkers. And that will make my sheets. You'll see stalkers are insanely good against Dire Guardians. They will absolutely melt Dire Guardians later on in the game, particularly once they get to high marks. And because I only wanted that and I didn't trigger a counterattack, I don't even bother to clear out the rest of the guard posts. I believe now I go and deal with the picking up the other raider, because I'm just about filled up my fleet. I also build that custom fleet leader because I'm going to get more ship types than I have slots for pretty soon, and I don't usually put fleet lines on engineering stations, even though you can. Here's another one where they all start running away. See, if you sit over the wormhole, you can try to pick off as many as you can and prevent them from becoming a threat, because in general, AI ships are much more dangerous as threats than as anything else, really. Now the AI has a super fortress and a regular fortress here, which is kind of annoying. So that'll take a little while for me to work down. I'm trying to stay out of range of the fortress while I fight things, so I just trigger all the guards on that fortress and then go and kill some of those decloakers while while the AI's ships make their way over.
Very well, sir.
And at this point I realise they are all going to try to escape again, and I'm up to 30 threat, which is, you know, not a huge amount really, given the strength of the defences on my planet. But I prefer to avoid it. Now we've got the annoying thing that you always have to check for on planets. The Saruta has a mass driver. You can't send planet transports onto planets with mass drivers; they will die immediately.
My pleasure.
So I just have to back off. I still don't want to trigger too many guard posts at once, so even though I'm getting mauled by the Shredder Guardian, yeah, Shredder Die Guardian, I just pull out. And once I'm able to snipe that mass driver, I'm able to bring in my transport, and then all my fleet's getting rebuilt in place, which is much nicer than having to micro them through the wormhole, which I'll do a little of later. Sometimes you just do have to micro the reinforcements through the wormhole rather than bringing the transport over. But I prefer to avoid it if I can, just have them built in place. It's also, yeah, because there's a few weird selection error issues with the current version where if a unit gets stunned, it gets deselected if you've box selected it, whilst it stays selected if you selected the whole fleet. Which, yeah, I want to avoid. So I've almost finished cleaning this hub at this point. So I decided to start doing the hack. This was a bit of a mistake. I probably should have just finished off the AI before doing that. But that's just, you know, that was just a bit of an error on my part. As you can see, I'm taking more firepower than I really needed to. I should have just cleaned them up. I didn't realize the hack would be as significant as it was, so I hadn't realized that sort of annoyed the AI enough to have significant hacking response forces. And yeah, now I'm kind of going, oh dear, my construction fleet is having trouble rebuilding my fleet as quick as it's dying, which I'm not a big fan of, which means that I have the firepower of 350 ships rather than 500 ships, which is rather inimeedial, and ultimately end up causing a counterattack time at a start, which means I can't leave and rebuild until I finish picking up these guard posts. Once that's done, I head off relatively quickly, up there is the Strikecraft Coordinator. So I was thinking about grabbing this planet, which I do end up doing. So I'm just kind of going, how much should I wait for my fleet to rebuild before beginning my attack? Eventually, yeah, so I pick up the Iron Cannon first, since I do have a bunch of Mark III or lower ships that the Iron Cannon could have murdered. All this clicking around, it's not particularly necessary. I just do it a lot and make sure I keep my ships where I want them to be and nice and clumped up so they have all their firepower where I want them to be, but it's really just me being a click spammer, to be honest. You don't need to do that. And a lot of people's playstyles they do hardly click at all. They'll just go pursuit mode on a planet. I don't use pursuit mode too often because it's very inefficient with how it kills the AI. It'll trigger like all the guard posts really fast, and that's just not a great idea. So if you want to be reasonably efficient with your units, you're going to have to micro them at least a little bit, take on one guard post at a time. Be afraid of turrets, particularly AoE turrets. They do hit quite hard, and I do use pursuit mode here just to clear out everything and then start building my defenses around that. I will focus a little bit more on actually getting these defenses up nice and quick, because I really don't want that coordinator to die. There I am, just checking the ranges so I can place these turrets outside the range of the force fields, which is my preference usually. I usually play them outside the force fields to reduce the amount of so that they don't end up with that damage reduction, because usually I basically want the turrets to protect the force field, because the force field protects the command station, so the force field's basically your command station's hit points. So I want them to kill the enemy that's shooting at the force field as quickly as possible, which means they have to themselves be outside of the force field. Here I'm looking at the global command augmenter. I make another bit of a silly decision here. I decided to re-roll the command augmenter to get myself some better turrets, but I didn't really need better turrets. Like, I had enough turrets. I really shouldn't have wasted the hacking points on this. And the time as well. So that was a bit of a silly one. I knew I needed to hack away the command augmenter because I couldn't protect it and the other thing. I pick off the data center with my fleet whilst whilst my transport is busy doing the actual hack, but that doesn't go as well as it could have gone because the Cthulid Guardian Tethusla? Anyway, that one zombifies a whole bunch of my fleets, a bunch of my ships while it's really far away. I basically wait for it to patrol over to my side of the planet and then go and murder it. You can see how quickly the Stalkers murder those Dire Guardians there. It's kind of crazy. Given how, like, Dire Guardians are tough. They have a lot of hit points, so most units will really struggle to bring them down, but Stalkers will just absolutely obliterate them with their, like, God, it must be close to like 8 times damage bonus, and they've got decent base DPS too. Here I realised that this northern planet has a fleet with a whole bunch of good stuff. Unfortunately, I do have to immediately fight 2 posts, and that iron cannon is murdering a whole bunch of my ships. I actually didn't realise how nasty that iron cannon was. Like, somehow I internally didn't register that it was a Mark 6 iron cannon and going to absolutely wreck my fleet until much later. I'm also getting super slowed by those gravity fields, which is always frustrating. So I lose more ships than I needed to here as well, which is a repeated theme. Mistakes were made, but I was playing pretty quickly, so that's not surprising.
Absolutely.
Everyone makes mistakes. Right, so with
pleasure.
So now the AI is getting to the point where they're sending in a few attacks that are causing me some problems. So I've got 50 threat at this point. Lots of ships have escaped and become threat. So the AI is starting to just be annoying with those ships and forcing me to use some ships to actually defend my planet rather than just relying on the static defenses. Fleets are generally pretty good at defending planets because they rebuild, whilst turrets... a constructing turret takes a massive damage penalty. Here I am trying to chase down some of these fast-moving hunter ships, because kite hunters will retreat like that. You can see how bad 2 Mark 6 gravity gens are. They're quite horrible to try to approach. It took me so long there. The Instigator spawns, it's just over there. I'll go and pick that off soon. It's not very important. It's just wave budget if I remember right, and a difficulty 7 AI doesn't send very big waves, so yeah. More important that I prevent that 180 strength counterattack from actually spawning. Because I made so many mistakes whilst I was trying to kill this place that I lost a ton of ships. Big drain on my economy. Fortunately, I do have a fair amount of metal production just due to the sheer amount that your homeworld outputs. That's why it's so good upgrading it to Mark II, because your homeworld produces a lot of metal, and it scales really well when you mark it up, so you get a lot more metal by just adding that 1 mark to your homeworld. If you don't know how to do that, that's just you C-click on your home command station. I know it's a bit late now, you probably like gotten confused at the start of the video if you didn't know. So, you know, that's, sorry about that. Right, so, yeah, now I'm going to do a bit of more of a deep strike in order to get that Instigator, which is 3 planets out. I'm just doing a bit of a checking for sabots, basically. Sabot and orbital mass drivers are the 2 things that will stop you from your transport from driving through a planet. Watch out for those and find a route through that doesn't have those, and you can basically reach wherever you like. That's especially one of the advantages of the crosshatch map type, is that you're very unlikely to be stopped by a Sabot or something, because you know you've got many different options for trying to get to a planet without deep striking. In fact, there are no planets on this map that are deep striking because they're all within 4 hops of your homeworld. I believe. Might be some that are 5, but I think they're all 4. Anyway, they're 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's right. They're all within 4 hops because it's Manhabolus distance, I believe. It's like the opposite of Manhattan distance, where you can do the diagonals are the same as doing the thing. It's basically that's the distance measure where if you if you play a video game. Oh yeah, I released a whole bunch of threat here like a dumbass by driving my fleet through there. That was stupid. So yeah, I've just driven my transport here, easy enough. The instigators. I just pick up the instigator, run away from all of the fort and things, and then kill all the fleets. Whilst I let my fleet do that, I'm just looking at what else is going on and trying to work out what I'll do next. I believe I'm about to make another mistake. We'll get to that shortly. Again, look at how fast that Dire Guardian melts. That's insane. Yeah, I think I go with the Stalkers here because I'm like, I want more of that. Fleet doubling, getting ships to high mark, they're all really good. The other thing about disruptive is actually, what we'll see later, is that almost all disruptive ships have medium hull. So if you can just upgrade one hull type and get most of your disruptive ships. I'm not sure if it's actually all types of disruptive ships, but it's a lot of them. But yeah, whilst I'm doing it way faster than you need to, and you should, if you're doing Div 7, I'd recommend picking up the kinds of things I'm picking up. Not necessarily disruptive, obviously, but pick up, you know, advanced research stations of 1 or 2 ship types to get the hit a lot of high mark ships, and pick up the strike craft augmenter, pick up the fleet doublers on some of your good ship lines, and ideally have a way to deal with small ships and a way to deal with Dire Guardians and Guardians. And once you've got, pick up daggers and raiders. Once you've got all that, you're in a pretty good situation. Just some fleet management here. I might actually go to 3 times speed for a minute here while I'm stuffing about, because I think I'm actually going to end up doing all this again, because I do one save scum because of a misclick that's about to happen. I clicked the home commands. I clicked the air command station. I did not mean to do that. So I just reload to the last autosave and redo that little segment. So here we are back at killing those stealth command stations, then that gravity guardian. And then I just do the hack again, and all's well. I didn't need to reload there, really. I could have just continued, but I didn't want to. I just was like, oh shoot, I just misclicked. I didn't like it, so I reloaded. There I am, remembering that I went Stalkers. Because a little more time had passed for me, and I'd been thinking about a whole bunch of different things, and I have to redo all of that fleet stuff. And here's where I get a crash, which I will have, of course. I will now, actually will increase speed here because I just go and grab the dump from the game files, ready to upload to the Archon Mantis. Please bug report when you get crashes. This is on the latest beta branch, so it's not surprising that there's a few bugs on there. You know, it's to be expected. Okay. I've been having some trouble with the AI actually winning against my defenses, and I don't want to have to move my fleets around too much, so I just build a few extra defenses on some of the AI's favorite targets, which of course moves the AI's favorite target because they will attack what's weakest. They take the target's opportunity. The AI in this game is fairly smart. They have some problems that you can exploit, but you know, AI is hard. It really, really is. Oh yes, I've got suppressor frigates now. Suppressor frigates are very strong. They will stun a whole bunch of enemy ships for a long time and drag them around. They can be a little annoying because they're actually kind of holding the enemy fleet out of range of most of my strike craft at the moment, which is kind of annoying, and I can't be bothered microing them to bring them closer. If you want to use them optimally, you probably want to grab a whole bunch of enemy ships, bring them into the bulk of your fleet, and then move them back out. I'm doing another hack here, just grabbing stuff. I have a big enough fleet that it was fine to do the hack without killing everything on that planet. And as it turned out, I didn't even trigger a counterattack evo, I believe. I don't plan on taking that planet. I'm going to go Aho and across. I'm moving in for the kill at this point. My fleet's strong enough. I should be able to take down the AI home command with no problems. If you're a new player, probably go for a bit bigger fleet than I've got here. You do have to do a little bit of micro to bring down the AI command with this kind of fleet, but yeah. They're going for the throat. I'm kind of looking here and going, the AI is keeps attacking me in the, my home stuff. I've ended up accumulating a lot of threat. I don't want to deal with it, but I have to because the AI just has all this stuff. Look at that Dire Guardian Elf. It's so satisfying since they're usually such a pain in the ass to deal with. Don't expect them to die that quick in your games unless you have stalkers. They take longer. So yeah, pick off this data center to delay the AI reaching Mark II for just a little bit longer, and then I believe I end up taking that planet I'm on next, Orion. It doesn't really matter if I take Aho or Orion next. They're the same thing, really.
Absolutely.
Trying to do my defenses up north. I'm trying not to have to send my main fleet back, but I think I do end up having to do so here because they just do have enough stuff. Look, there's 80 threat right now in the galaxy. That's like a counter. That's like an entire cross-planet attack worth at difficulty 7. So, it's enough you do have to worry about. I won't actually. Well, I'll kind of get a cross-planet attack here. I think I win just before the first cross-planet attack triggers. But basically the way I'm dealing with this threat is exactly the same as how you should deal with a cross-planet attack. Just, keep an eye on it. They will attack your planets. They'll attack your vulnerable places. Don't overstress if they're attacking planets that don't have destructibles. I'm a little worried here because there's quite a lot of threat near Rossack, which does have the destructible I need to protect. I need to protect that Strikecraft Augmenter. Here I do decide to actually keep this Global Command Augmenter here, so I build up defenses nice and early around it. I don't really need it, it's just that I didn't want to defend it. Here I save because I'm going to go for the alarm post. If you send a small number of ships through to the alarm post, you can kill it without triggering it. But I just saved in case I accidentally sent too many ships, since it's hard to estimate. Kill the Cthulhu so I don't have a ton of zombies murder me, and then pick off the orbital mass driver because I totally forgot about that. I think I lost one of my transports to it in this assault. Yeah, you can see one of them's crippled there. Don't send transports onto planets with orbital mass drivers. They will murder them immediately. Now I'm just hanging out. It doesn't matter that the planet up north got lost because it didn't have anything on it. Feel free to have whatever it is die. Here I'm just going build everything to defend the wormhole so that they don't attack me. Eventually I'll rebuild that planet, but it doesn't matter unless you get energy starved, and I am very much not. Don't worry about it. If you don't build the defensive frigates on planets, it's very easy to float a lot of energy, and that means you just don't have to worry about energy, which is great.
Sure thing.
I don't really want to deal with that raid engine there, so I leave that planet. The raid engine will just send small attacks at me, but it's mainly that in order to get rid of it, I have to take 5 AI progress, and I don't want to. So I just don't attack that planet. I pick another route. So, we are getting very close to the end at this stage. I'm just taking that this last planet along the route. Sorry if you heard any of that background noise there.
Consider it done.
So, yeah, come in, take this planet. This planet's not going to be giving me any resistance. My fleet's gotten quite ridiculous. In fact, despite this being a Mark IV planet, our retreats. Actually, I'm not taking this planet. Sorry, I'm just hacking this planet for another fleet line just to help me. I'm taking a more cautious approach than I probably needed to. I don't need this much. I don't need any more stuff. I've got enough stuff to win already. I don't need to do this. But partially this is just to demonstrate to people how to play on Div 7. So you know, it's I'm not trying to do it the absolute fastest possible. More fleet management. Fleet management is a thing that I just have to do. I think I actually was able to drop off some decently powerful ships on there, was I? I'm trying to remember. At one point I give my defensive fleet its better ships to help them deal with everything that's going on back there. This is when the AI's threats, you know, still pretty unmanageable, so they will just try to snipe stuff unless I send enough stuff to grab it. Aggravik pods, they're another good one. They have a good DPS. Generally, baseline, you should just go for ships with high DPS. And secondarily, it's nice if they're tough, and then look at their bonuses. If they're good against something that you know you want to kill a lot of, then grab those ones. That's just the baseline for it. Once you get more familiar with the ships, you can start playing with more complicated things.
Sure.
Again, losing planet, it doesn't matter. You can lose as many planets as you like, you'll be fine. As long as you know, don't let the AI kill things that kill irreplaceable units. So here, I'm running out of money. This was annoying. I basically had to slow down my whole attack because I was metal starved. You can see in the upper left, starving. Very annoying, but that's just the way it was. So I guess that's one downside to losing the planet. You lose metal income, but most of my metal income's in my home world, which I think I will upgrade to tier 3 just to get a little bit more metal income.
Sure.
Squeezed out shortly. Yeah, there we go. Once I had the 3,000 science I needed, and I plonked down the extra home force field generator just because why not? So, yep, this is just a delay of the finish. I'm not kind of doing anything here. I'm just waiting for all my ships to rebuild so I can have a bit of a metal bank again. I think I actually lose that planet, which was really stupid of me. I was like, oh, that was a reconquest wave. Whoops. Let's just retake that planet quickly. This is why you need to pay attention, even when you're waiting for your metal to come back. If you do lose focus, you can lose stuff, and it ends up just delaying things even longer than it needs to be. Okay, at long last, I'm onto this planet. I will just kill everything. As I say, I just have a massive fleet at this point. There's enough DPS in this. Melt another Dire Guardian, which is hilarious. I am just playing at 3 times speed to start with, and then you're watching this at 2 times speed. So this is 6 times speed, but even then, that Dire Guardian died pretty quick. Grabbing what I can with the suppressors and trying to snipe them before they get the home world, because I don't want to deal with a bunch of threat again, but despite my best efforts, there's 90 threat up there right now. Though that does take a little while to update, so it'll probably go down a little bit once it registers my latest set of kills. Yeah, there we go, 84. Not as much as I was kind of hoping. Oh, 73. Well, there we go. That's probably more what I just killed. So I take this planet, now this will be my planet next to the AI homeworld. I make sure I have plenty of stuff ready to defend it in case the AI slips some stuff back here, because I want to be able to rebuild my fleet as quickly as possible while selling the AI homeworld. It does have 700 strength. I was surprised when these turrets popped up. They had some stealth turrets sitting around there that I hadn't noticed when I was fighting the AI. Alright, build my maximum number of turrets and head on in. I said those plasma turrets were important. They are important, but only for trying to kill the AI phase 2 really early. This is why I say you probably want a few more ships, because you need things like plasma turrets to take out the AI phase 2 early. Here I'm noticing I'm going to spend all my money building these defenses, so I need to wait for my money to restore a bit before I start attacking the AI homeworld, because otherwise I'll have no money. I accidentally send my fleet through there without loading them into the transports first, so I have to fix that before I can send them through, and then they're just going to be ready to defend PAL when that wave hits, because I've learnt that the AI is hitting me hard enough that I do need to actually, you know, stop the waves rather than just ignore them. Okay, our homeworld. Our homeworlds are fine to deal with in this one. They're not like, if anyone listening has played AOL Classic, they're not like that. They're much easier. They were horrible in Classic, very hard to deal with. Here, just take the guard post one at a time, like any other planet, just with slightly more powerful enemies on them. Easy done. Oh yes, and the AI will also spam its Praetorian Guard and Wardens and Hunters at you while you're doing it. As you can see, hilarious melting of the Dire Guardians by the Stalkers. Great fun. Not something I can do normally. Sorry about that. My mouse ended up over there. Yeah, you need to have enough firepower to basically be able to kill the Praetorian Guard and Wardens and Hunter as they spawn. The AI will divert a lot of its different budgets, so like what it would be spending on waves or cross-planet attacks or all those sorts of things, it will divert to helping defend its homeworld. So the AI does spawn a lot of ships to try to kill you when you're in this situation. There's the actual main Warden fleet just coming back here. It doesn't matter though, they're all Mark 1 ships, so they just die. They do have a lot of Sabot guard posts and things. I think those red ones are Sabot, but I don't have too much trouble with them sniping my transports. Some of the guard posts also have drones on them, which are kind of annoying, but they're not that powerful. So, beam guard posts are deadly. One to really watch out for actually is gravity guard posts. You want to hit that at long range because its guns are insanely powerful. They will absolutely obliterate you. And Spider up there is another one to watch. You can see it's pinned a good percentage of my fleet up north now. You just have to, just kill that, or it will just keep lock down your fleet forever. You just need numbers, the numbers to deal with that, or something immune to its engine damage. Engine stun, these in AOR2 actually, they don't have engine damage, because engines don't have hit points like they did in AOR Classic. Yeah, I focus down the Sabot guard posts whenever I get close to them just to make sure they don't. I realize everything left is a Sabot, like, or something, guard post, so I'm like, how do I approach this while triggering one at a time as much as possible without letting my transports and suppressors die. Suppressors are definitely one to watch out for, because if they get zombified, and they do get zombified a few times, they do grab like half your fleet and start stunning them, so yeah, your own suppressors can very much be turned against you. You need to watch that and focus fire those down immediately to prevent that. I try to stop all these guys from escaping me, but then I'm like, oh, I need to kill this as well, so I got a bit confused there. But eventually, I do just clean up the last of the AI's major defenses. By now, AI progress is at 200. Killing all these stuff does increase AI progress dramatically, but that's fine. One last save, just in case I stuff this up. I think I don't, as it turns out, but yeah, it is. The phase 2 of the AI command station is no joke. Always take it seriously. It will absolutely melt your fleet. You basically just want to target fire it until it dies. Here, I'm just basically, I actually upgrade the mark of my battle station to give it better turrets. Put down all of the turrets in range of the AI command station, and then build them up. And then, yeah, I kill this, target it, and move my fleet away. So I'm basically using my fleet as bait to take it away from the plasma turrets whilst trying to prevent the AI's regular forces from killing the plasma turrets. Eventually it does turn around, but by that point it's too late. I've managed to do enough damage that I can just charge it and kill it. And that is game. So, 2-hour win. I hope this has been amusing and informative. Yeah. I am not quite sure how I'll what I'm going to do next as a video. If you have any thoughts, you know, feel free to comment them. If there's anything you'd like me to show you how to do, or if you just want to see me try to take on the Div 10 AI, please say so. Otherwise, I will just come up with something myself, since not many people watch these, so it's very possible that no one will ask. So, that is all for now. Bye.